Hey, welcome to my video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a revive or respawn system in Roblox Studio. All right, so the first thing you want to do is go to replicated storage and add a remote event. After that, go to server script service and add a new script. Then go to starter GUI, add a screen GUI, and inside it, add a frame. Scale and position the frame however you like. Inside that frame, you can add a text label if you want, or you can skip it, then add a button. This button will be your respawn button. Again, scale everything, change the colors, and customize it however you want. If you change the button's name, you also have to change it in the code. After you are done, turn off the frame's visibility. Lastly, add a local script inside that screen GUI. Now, open the script you added inside server script service. By default, Roblox automatically loads your character. We want to turn that off because we don't want Roblox to spawn the character automatically. This line basically disables that option so we can control when the character loads. Now, we need to save a variable called RE, which is short for remote event. It's located in replicated storage. We use wait for child so that if the script runs before the remote event exists, it doesn't error and instead waits for it. Make sure the name in the code matches the name of your remote event exactly. Now we create a function for when a player joins. Game.players.playerAdded runs whenever a player joins the game. We add a variable called player so we know which player just joined. Next, we create a function that runs whenever that player's character loads. The local functions you see are basically shortcuts. Instead of writing the same code over and over again, we can just call the function. The spawn player function loads the character whenever we call it, and we pass the player variable so it knows who to load. Now we move on to the setup character function. Again, we add the player variable so we know which character to set up. Inside this function, we save the character so we know which one to track when it dies. I added or player.character added wait. So if the character didn't load yet, then it waits for the character to load. Then we get the humanoid. We use wait for child because the character usually loads before the humanoid. If we don't wait for it, the script can crash. We then track when the humanoid dies, which basically means the player died. When the player dies, we fire the remote event to the client. In our case, we fire it only to the player that died. This tells the client to show the respawn frame. Inside the character added function, we call the setup character function we created earlier. This way, every time the character respawns, it keeps tracking deaths over and over again. Under that, we spawn the character so the player can actually play. We spawn the character after setting everything up so the script knows the character already loaded. If we spawned the character before that, the script could think the character didn't load yet. Now we add a function to know when to revive the player. We use remote event.onServer event. This means when the client tells the server to respawn them, the server handles it. When this runs, we spawn the player. And that's basically the entire server script. Now we move on to the local script, which is the client-sided script. The first thing we do is save the remote event. This is the same remote event we saved in the server script. Next, we add a function that runs when the client receives a call from the server. When the server fires the remote event, we turn the visibility of the respawn frame on. Now we create a function for when the player clicks the respawn button. When the button is clicked, the frame visibility turns off so the player can't spam it. Then we fire the remote event to the server to respawn the character. And that's basically all of the base script. You can go ahead, watch me test it, or just skip a couple seconds forward. As you can see, it works perfectly fine. Now you can add extras to this script. One example is adding limited lives. I'm going to create a simple leader stats script. I create a new script and use player added. When the player joins, I add a new folder into the player using instance.new. Instance.new basically creates a new object. I tell it which object to create and who to parent it to. I name the folder leader stats so it shows on the leaderboard. Then I create a new int value. An int value is an object that holds numbers. I parent it to the leader stats folder. I can change the default lives value by setting the value to a number. In this example, I set it to 3 lives. Then I name it lives, and that's it. As you can see, it works, and I now have 3 lives. Now, I want to connect this to the script we already made. Whenever the remote event is fired, I check the lives value. If the lives are greater than or equal to 1, I subtract 1 life and respawn the player. If the player has less than 1 life, the character will not respawn. As you can see, it works perfectly. Once I reach 0 lives, it doesn't spawn me again. Now I'll make it better by showing that you ran out of lives on the client side. The first thing I do is save the local player. This can only be done in a client-sided script, which is a local script. Then I save the leader stats folder and the lives value so it's easier to use later. Inside the remote event on client event, when the server fires it to the client, I check if the lives value is 0 or below. If it is, I change the text label to say you ran out of lives, and I change the respawn button text to quit. Inside the button function, I make it so it only fires if the player has more than 1 life. If they don't, it kicks the player and shows a message saying, "You ran out of lives." As you can see, it works fine. The kick message doesn't always show in Roblox Studio, but it works in real games. And that's it for today. If you're confused about anything or need help with this script, you can join my Discord. The link is in my channel and in this video's description. I'm active there and I'll help you out. I hope this explanation made sense and helped you understand how everything works. Thanks for watching.